This conference will now be recorded.
Fine, yes, thanks again for joining. Okay, so before I start the today's session, I don't know how many of you in the call have registered or not yet registered. If it is possible, just put in a message in the chat, just yes or no. If you're registered, just type yes, or if you're not registered, just type in no. Depending upon that, right, I'll probably try to have the session accordingly. Okay, if most of you are not registered, I would probably try to. You can even send me privately also. That is fine. So that if most of you are not yet registered, I will probably have one more kind of a demo session on any of the random topic. I'll take it and probably go over next 30 minutes so that you will get to know the kind of teaching that will be done. Or if you most of you have already registered, then we'll go with the regular day one. So just wait for a minute if you can possible for day one session and send it. Okay, fine. I think the people who haven't responded also, I will assume that they haven't registered. So what we'll do is majority of them haven't registered. So whatever joined, right? So what we'll do is I'll just pick a random topic from our course, and then we'll go over that 30 minutes. Okay, fine. So what we'll do is yesterday I've been deploying a war file for e-library application into a Tomcat, and I said that is application we'll be using it, right? So what I will do is today, um, from a monitoring, right? From a monitoring perspective, monitoring your Java application, monitoring your JVM, right? Um, how you will be monitoring the JVM in Windows and as well as in the Linux. If your app server is, if your Tomcat is installed in Linux, or if your Tomcat is installed in Windows, how will you use? There's a tool called Jconsole. Okay, Jconsole is a tool that comes along with your Java installation. How can you use that to monitor your JVM? Okay, that is what we'll look into it. So two things. One, we'll look into what are the configuration you have to modify it to enable that monitoring, and then how will you use Jconsole to monitor it, and what you will monitor. Okay, that is what we will look into it today. Okay. Yeah, I haven't shared the screen. I'm ready to share the screen. I'll do it now. Okay, fine. So first thing, um, I have my. I'm going to use a couple of things. One is I'll do things in Windows first. Okay, and then I'll go to the Linux and say show you how to do it in the Linux as well. Okay, the tool is going to be same. It's going to be Jconsole. Okay, the source application is Tomcat with e-library application. First use case, I'm having you're having the app server installed in Windows. Okay, let me go and start the Windows. Okay, I'll go to the. Give me 1 second. Yeah, let me go to the bin configuration. Go to the Tomcat. Okay, so this is my Tomcat I was showing yesterday, and then in the web apps folder I have my e-library.war file that is deployed. Okay, so to enable monitoring, right? To enable your monitoring of your Tomcat or a JVM through something called JMX, right? What you have to do is you have to go to the bin, okay, and go to the catalina.bat file, edit, okay. So in this bat file, okay, you have to insert these 4 lines, okay. So what we are saying is enable remote monitoring, jmx remote equal to true, and then you have to give a port through which you can access these monitoring data. So you have to provide the port. So this configuration, say for example, if you are having your own missions that you're going to take care of in the performance environment, right? You can directly go to the your app server machine, and then you can provide these properties. Or in places where you don't have a control of the missions, you have to ask your administrators or your server teams to insert these lines of code in the your bat file, in the Catalina file. Okay, so once this is done, once this 4 lines of code is inserted, then you can go and restart your server. If it is already on, you can restart it. If it is not turned on, you can just go and turn on. Okay, so I'll go and start the server. Okay, it will probably take what, 5-10 seconds. Let it start.
Just one question here. So
Yeah.
without this, you will not be able to access your Jconsole, is it, or the Tomcat? What was the reason you did this change? Can you please repeat?
No. So this is to enable the monitoring. See, Tomcat, we have deployed your Java application. So your Java application is going to run in a JVM. Okay. For me to monitor the CPU, memory, your thread utilization, or if I want to take some heap dumps to access the JVM level monitoring data, for that I need to enable that monitoring in the Tomcat. So what I've done is to enable that remote monitoring, your JVM monitoring. Okay, the reason is, say you will have your laptop, right? You will have your laptop, and your app server will be in a VM. It could be in an AWS VM or Azure or somewhere, right? You have a laptop, you have a other side, you have a VM where your server will be running. In that server, your Tomcat will be running, right? So for you, from your laptop, if you wanted to monitor that app server, that JVM, right? You need to enable this monitoring. You cannot always log into the app server and then use say top command or vmstat command, right? All these things are, you have to log into that machine and then do it. That is not possible, right? So for that, if you enable this remote monitoring from your laptop, you will be able to remotely connect it through Jconsole and then monitor it. So that is the reason we are adding that 4 lines of 4 lines of property in that Tomcat file.
All right. Can you share those 4 lines in the chat, please?
Sure, I'll put it in the chat. Sure. Just a second, I'll just take it and put it in the chat. Okay, so for whoever joined probably in the last 2 or 3 minutes, right? What we are trying to do here today is for people who haven't registered so far to get a feeling of how the teaching is going to be, to understand how the teaching methodology is going to be. I just going to pick the random topic of monitoring your JVM for a Windows-based server and Linux-based server, or are we going to use Jconsole for monitoring? That is what the topic we have picked, and I just started with the configuration to enable that monitoring. What configuration has to be done is what I have started with. Okay, so in the catalina.bat file, I have now added these 4 lines of property. Okay, and then I have restarted the machine as well. Okay, now then I'll go to the Jconsole. So Jconsole will be there in the, if you go to the C program files, wherever you install Java, I'll go to the program files, Java. Just me 1 second, please. Okay, sorry guys. So if you go to JDK and then go to the bin and then go to the Jconsole, Jconsole, yeah, it's here, Jconsole. Okay, so you can open the command line and then jconsole.exe. Okay, so once you open the Jconsole, okay, then you can go and provide your IP address. In this case, I have it in my own machine, right? So I can just give localhost. In your case, if your app servers are in another VM and you're connected from a laptop, you have to give the IP address of that VM. Okay, GenJC connect. So now it is reconnect. Okay, it is connected. Okay, so I'll not go through these metrics for now. Let it be. Okay, so what we've done is I have my app server running in my Windows machine. I have modified the required Catalina file, added these properties, and then restarted it. And then in Jconsole, I have used the same 5000 port and then the local host. Okay, and then started the Jconsole. With that, I could able to connect to the JVM metrics. Okay, so let it be. Now, second thing is, now I'm going to connect to my Linux machine. Okay, I have a Linux machine which I have spinned up in the AWS. Okay, let me, I think it is, session is something expired, I guess. I will try to reconnect. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so I have already installed Tomcat here. Let me go to the Tomcat directory, similar to the way the Windows I have navigated, right? I'll go to the cd user. Let me go to the cd root first. Cd user local bin. This is where I have installed my Tomcat, Apache Tomcat. Okay, so I'm into the my Tomcat folder, and then I'll go to the web apps and to check whether my file is already there, my war file is there. Okay, so I have this elibrary.war file already present in the my web apps. So now before going and starting the Tomcat server, I will go to the bin directory. Okay, I'll go to the, I have to open the my catalan.bat, right? Let me go and open the file. Okay, so if I go and check this, I'll go and add these lines of code again. Okay, in fact, in Linux, right? I think there are two other way to do it. Instead of adding it in the catalina.bat file, what you can do is, okay, there is something called set in enrollment.sh. Okay, so your this property can directly go into the this as well. Set environment.sh. Okay, so in this file, right, I have given all the similar options. I have given the JMX remote, I have given the port, I have given the SSL false, whatever I have given it in the Windows. I have given the same thing. If you noted here, I would have given the host name as the IP address of this machine. Whereas there in Windows, I would have given local. If you remember here, right, I have given local host. Since I'm accessing everything in my own Windows local laptop, I've just given localhost. Now, since the Linux is there in the AWS VM, right, I need to give the host name as well. Okay, so I've given the host name. Okay, so for in the Linux, from a configuration perspective, in the Tomcat folder inside the bin, you need to create something called set environment.sh for the first time, and then add these as well. I'll copy this as well to you in the chat. Okay, so that for Linux you can note down this. There is a chat window. Yeah, Linux set environment.sh. Okay, yeah. So once you do it, now you go and start your Tomcat. Okay, cd I think my server is already let me check. PS ef grep Java. This command I use it to check whether the Tomcat is already running. Java process is already running. Okay, so yeah, this is already my Tomcat is already running. Okay, with the PID 1477. Okay, if you see here, when I PS is a command to know all the process that is running in my Linux machine. So when I say ps-ef grep Java, it is going to provide you all the Java process that is running in my Linux machine. Obviously, Tomcat is running there, and whatever property I have given it to be in this file, right? You can also see it here. Somewhere it is echoing. Somebody is there in unmuted. Okay. Okay. So the Tomcat is already running. So now what I can do is I can go to my Windows machine again. From there, I will try to connect the port 5000. In this case, I will use the host as this one. Instead of local host, I will do a remote connection to this, right? Because my Linux machine is in this IP address. So I need to connect to this IP address and 5000 port to monitor the Linux machine through Jconsole. So let me open the Jconsole, new connection, and then here I will provide this with 5000. Okay, earlier there in the Windows as well, the connection is same. From a concept perspective, Jconsole will be there in your laptop. You have to select the remote process. In the remote process, you need to provide the IP address and port. The IP and port will be similar, will be configured in the whatever you configure it in that startup file, right? Your JMX port, JMX host. That is what you will give it, and then say connect. It will get connected. Okay, so the connection is same. The way you connect is same. From a configuration perspective also, it's pretty much same. Okay, so for both Windows and Linux, you will follow a pretty much same way. Okay, and then your Jconsole is going to be there in your laptop. Okay, so be it as a Linux or be it as a Windows, you need to enable the remote monitoring. Once the remote monitoring is enabled, then you will be able to look into your heaps, your thread, your CPU, and then if you want to take a thread dump, heap dump, all these things you can do it. Now if you see your let me go to just give me 1 second. Okay, so I'll go to my Tomcat. I'll open the Jmeter script. Okay, I'll run a small script of my E library so that we can go and check we can go and look into the metrics as well. Otherwise, every value will be very, very less, right? That's what we saw in the Jconsole. Everything is all 0%. Your CPU is almost 0 or 0.2%, and memory is also very less 60 MB, right? So let's go and start a small test. Let me open a Jmeter script. Okay, I'll go and save this one. Save test plan as. Let's go to Windows. Okay, I need to change it to localhost. I'm going to run it in my Windows only. So I'll go and change this. Localhost 8082. Localhost. And all these things you can do it pretty much in your machine as well. Okay. All you need is a Java. You need Jconsole will be there in Java folder. A Tomcat you need to install it, and war file I'm going to give it. The configuration file as well, right? The catalina.bat file, whatever I used, that as well I will give it to you. So whatever I'm doing it in my machine now, you will be able to do it. Even if you want to do it and try it in a Linux machine, you can also do it. You can go and open a AWS account, and you can get a free tier, which means you will not pay anything at all, right? And you can get a Linux machine, and you can install Tomcat and then do all these things. Okay, and as part of the bonus session, right, at the end, we'll also have especially a topic on Linux, how to get a Linux machine, how to install softwares in Linux machine, what are the package managers in Linux, how to use a couple of the important utilities like top, IOStat, VMstat, so all these command line utilities, how to use it, right? All these things we will be learning at the end. So anyway, you'll get to know about that at the end. But if you want to even try out now, you can pretty much do it both in Windows and Linux. Okay, so 99% whatever I'm doing it in my laptop, you would be able to do it, because most of the things are going to be open source, or every tool is going to have a trial license for sure. Okay, so it's all set. I'll go and save it, and then I'm going to run it. Okay, so while I'm going to run it, okay, let's look into a couple of things. Okay, from now the CPU is almost 0%. Okay, it says disconnected. Let me go and do a new connection. Localhost 5000. Just give me 1 second. It says keeps saying disconnected. 1 minute. Okay, just give me 1 second, guys. Some issue with my Windows Jconsole. I'll switch back to my Linux anyway, so that we will monitor that. Just give me 1 second. I'll start the same Jmeter script for the Linux app server. So that is why I've saved it earlier. I'll go and open this. So this is, I'll stop it. Okay, let me go and open it now. Okay, so this is anyway pointing to the 113.233 box, the Linux box. Okay, so and then I'll go and check whether my Jconsole does open in my Windows. The other machine is active. This is connected. This is connected, and it's almost 0%. 9% is a CPU, and memory-wise, it is almost what 200 MB. Okay, now we'll go and start the. Yeah, I'll go and start this. Okay, now let me go here. Okay, now if you see the CPU has increased from 0 to almost 80%. Okay, and then if I go to the memory, okay, memory is pretty much same. We don't see much increase in memory even with the increase in load. I'm running it for what, close to just 10 concurrent users. I'm running it. Okay, so with 10 concurrent users, I could see memory, hardly any memory has been utilized. It's pretty much same at 180 MB. Okay, but CPU, it is almost 80 to 95%. If you see the CPU, right, it at the last graph, it is almost, it's going up and down between 80 to 95%. Okay, see, the one of the main reason is the mission, the Linux mission, whatever I'm using it, right? It's a free tier mission. It's just having a 1 core CPU with 1 GB of memory. Okay, so that's the reason you see CPU is 90%, because we have just one processor there running. Okay, if I go to memory, it's pretty much flat, and then to look into the your thread number of active threads or number of threads busy, right? The way you can do it here is you can go to the threads as well, but this thread, right, it will provide you the count of all the threads that are running in your server. There are going to be your Jvm specific, your app specific threads that will be running, like your execute 1, 2, 3. There are 10 threads that are configured. Okay, but for you to really know how many threads are busy, you can go to the your ambience, you can go to the Catalina, you can go to the thread pool. Okay, and then you can open this. You can go to the attributes, and then you can say current thread busy, refresh. So there are 6, 3. So as you refresh, it will keep moving between different. How many threads are busy? It will show you. Okay. To know how many threads you are configured, right? What's the max thread you are configured? For the min thread, you can click the min thread. The minimum thread is 10 we have configured, and the maximum threads it will be there similar to the min thread. There will be max thread. Yeah, max thread. Max thread is 200 we have configured. So 200 max thread, minimum 10 threads. Out of that, current thread busy is there is one thread, that 5 threads that are busy. And to know how many threads are idle, there will be a counter for um, idle thread as well somewhere. Current thread count, that is 10 active thread counts. So the current thread busy is something you need to check it, right? You need to check two things when you monitor the thread pool. You should know what is my number of threads configured first. So max thread will is nothing but what's the maximum thread that your Tomcat will spin up at any point of time, and minimum is even with the load or without load, there will be 10 threads that will be running. Okay, that is what we saw here, right? From 1 to 10. Okay, if you increase the load, your additional thread will be created. Okay, but it cannot go less than 10. It cannot go more than 200. So min thread is 10, max thread is 200. Okay, so out of that, the current thread currently Tomcat has allocated 10. Out of this 10, how many is busy? Uh, 3 is out of 10. 3 is busy now. Okay, I think somewhere you'll also see the idle threads. I couldn't able to just locate it immediately. There will be definitely something called idle threads, past connection count, thread priority, max threads. Okay, no worries anyway. So fine. So we'll be looking into the how many threads are busy. See, out of 10, right? Say for example, if the current thread count is 10, if all the 10 threads are busy, then which means your thread utilization is very, very high. Okay, so your current thread count, and when you compare with the current thread busy, okay, that should be enough free threads should be available. Out of 10, now 7 is available, right? Only 3 is busy, which means you have enough thread to handle the additional task. So this is very important when you want to monitor your thread utilization. Okay, so with Jconsole, it's a very simple tool for you to monitor your heap memory. Okay, so what is heap memory, your thread, max thread, min thread, how to configure it, all these things we will learn it in deep. Okay, what is the concept behind this thread creation, how it will get destroyed, your thread utilization, thread dumps, thread locks, heap usage, all these things we are going to learn it a deep dive as we go along. Since it's a kind of a demo session today, I wanted to show how to monitor your JVM that is there in Windows and in Linux through a Jconsole. Okay, so you can monitor your CPU, you can monitor your memory, you can monitor your thread utilization. Also, you can go and take a thread dump sorry, a heap dump if your memory is very high, and if you want to go and take a heap dump, that is also something you can do it from the Jconsole. Okay, so if you go to com.sun.management, okay, and then go to the hotspot diagnostics, go to the hotspot diagnostics and go to the operation. There's something called dump heap. Okay, dump heap, where you can go and provide your path where you want to take a heap dump. This heap dump will be stored in your Linux machine where the server is running, because we are monitoring the Linux remotely, right? When you take a heap dump, dump will be taken in the Windows, in the Linux machine only, not in your laptop. So you need to provide the path. Okay, so to know the path, what I will do is I will go to my WinSCP. So WinSCP is one more tool which through which you can look into your, you can transfer file between your laptop and Linux machine. Okay, so I want to just copy the path of this. So I'll try to save the heap dump in this path, user local bin. Okay, so now if you see there is nothing here in this path, I'll go to my machine again, and then I'll say save this in this path, dump dot hprof. So extension would be hprof. You have to store it in this format. Okay, so then I say I'll click this dump heap. Now it will go and take a heap dump. We'll see what is a heap dump, how do you analyze all these things. We will look into it during our actual session. Okay, in mode. Now if I go back to my EC2 hyphen user, EC2 hyphen user. You see dump.hprof is taken at 9:44. Okay, and then I can open this, if at all there's a memory problem, I can open the hprof file, and then I'll be able to analyze the heap dump. Okay, so what we learned today is very simple thing, but effective one. How can you monitor your JVM, your Java application that is running in your Windows machine or in your Linux machine through Jconsole? Monitor the heap, monitoring your thread utilization, monitoring your CPU, and then if at all you want to take the heap dump, how it is possible to do with Jconsole, and what are the configuration you have to do with Tomcat for enabling this remote monitoring. That is what we have learned in this today's session. Okay, so the plan is from tomorrow. We have to start with the sessions because already there are a good amount of people who have already enrolled, so we don't want to waste their time, right? So we will get started with the topic, day one topic from tomorrow. So it will be a proper sessions, actual sessions from tomorrow based on these topics what we want to cover. Okay, so if you have any questions on the topics or the course schedule or anything related to the payment, reach out to us in the WhatsApp group or directly to us. Okay, and sessions are going to be the same time, Monday to Friday, between 9 p.m. To 10 p.m. IST. Okay, so I'll take a pass now, guys. If you have any questions, right, feel free to ask, put it in the chat, or you can unmute and ask questions. Okay, there was one question I saw. Is this a beginning session as part of regular course? No, this is not a beginning session. This is more of a demo session. I just picked one topic randomly, but still a unique topic which has a proper start and end. That is what I covered today. Yeah.
Hey Satish, Mohit this side.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Satish, my first question is like which I asked you in the chat also, like all the tools which you are installing, can that be installed in Mac also?
See, definitely should be possible because I have used Linux, right? Mac is also one of the Linux distribution, right? So
Yeah.
it should be possible. But only thing is, I don't. To be honest, I haven't used Mac at all. So the tools are compatible. That is what very sure. You might need to do some more groundwork to get a proper versions, compatible versions to get it installed in your machine. But whenever you wanted to do a hands-on in the new environment, be it Mac or Windows or Linux, right? You will get some initial problem with the configuration, with the setup, with the installation. Initial struggle will be there, but it will be more fun to do it, learn it, and then learn from that. So it is possible. It is definitely, it will work, but you might need to do probably extra work to get the right versions and use it.
Okay, and my next question is like all the recordings, we will be having access for those recordings, right?
Correct. So yeah,
and
recordings will be available.
Yep.
And it will
And
be
can you tell
available
me
for
like
you.
at what time you you upload the recording at what time?
Yeah. Most of the cases, the next day by noon, right? Tomorrow
Uh,
by before 12 or 1 IST, 1 noon IST, the recordings will be uploaded, and recordings will be available for, there's no restriction of time restriction. It will be available throughout the year for next 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, whenever you want. The access will be there for these videos for you.
okay, is it possible to upload it on the same day? See, why I'm asking this, because I'm in US, right? So when you are uploading it, that would be a night time for me, and my whole day, whole night would be wasted. So if you can, if this can be uploaded on the same day, that would be my daytime. It would be very easy for me to go through and to learn, or if any issue, I can come and
Unfortunately, the team, admin team, works in the IST, right? So they have to do this processing. The processing takes at least 30-45 minutes to get processed. So they have some pre-work to be done before they upload it to YouTube. Right. So that is the reason they work from 9 to maximum 9 to 9. So they come back next day morning and they do this processing. So night, I don't think it is going to be possible. Maximum is the next day uh, before noon, but as soon as possible, we can ask the team to see whether they can give it a little early. But overnight, I don't think it is going to be possible, because the admin team, they are in IST, unfortunately.
uh, yes, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm good. And one last thing, like if I face any issue with installing software in Mac, I mean that would not be like, if I really face a big problem, will you be able to help me, or?
I can definitely try to help you troubleshoot it for sure. Since I haven't worked on Mac, but I have worked on Linux, so I hope it is going to be similar to Linux.
Yeah,
Uh,
most of the time I would be able to handle it, right? I am also from the IT background, but if
yeah.
I get
If not,
the some errors,
yes.
yeah, yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you,
See,
Satish.
I will not be able to say I'll be able to solve it, but I will be able to support it.
Yeah, yeah, still
I can.
that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Sure. Sure.
Thank you, Satish.
Sure. Sure. Okay. Fine, guys. So still, if you have any questions, we want to know whether this course is for really going to useful for you or not, whether it is going to be applicable for you or not. If you have any those kind of questions, you can just message me tomorrow. If at all required, we can get into a one-on-one discussion to recommend that is it really going to be useful or not for you, right? We can do that. Just put your questions in the group. If you have any questions on the payment or anything related to the fees, you can reach out to Kumar sir. Okay, fine, guys. So from tomorrow, it is going to be a day one session. So we'll meet you all tomorrow at the same time.
Yeah, hi Satish.
Yeah, go ahead, Shravan.
Yeah, so I have one question here. So in the Jconsole, you have mentioned like you have shown me like a beans, M beans are there, right? In that M beans, we are seeing how many occupied users, how many max users, how many mini users, right? So how you define like mini users are 10 and max users 200. So whether we can change them or it's a stable kind of thing. I just want
No, no,
to start.
it is a configurable one. It is a
Okay,
configurable one, and that is what we will use in the while we do a JVM tuning or JVM benchmarking, right? That is what
okay,
we will go and recommend. What is the maximum? Um,
okay,
uh, it for a JVM, right? There are a lot of things. First thing we want to know,
okay,
what is your JVM spec? Is it 4 core or 8 core, 2 core, 8 gig RAM or 4 gig RAM? And then
okay,
what is the expected response time SLA, 5 seconds or 3 seconds? And then we need to go and configure the heap memory, 2 GB heap or 4 GB heap, and then
okay.
go and run few tests, see response time is good or not, and then set these thread connections. So you, the more you going to have your threads, more user it can support. But at a certain point, right? Though you're going to increase your threads, your CPU is going to increase. So it's all going to be interrelated. All these metrics are interrelated. Your threads, your CPU, your memory, your heap, your response time, concurrent users. All these things we will do a multiple iteration of test before we go and find a optimal thread count. So these things again we will discuss in detail. But to answer your question, it is configurable, and that is a anyway performance testers and performance engineers job to go and recommend what would be the ideal configuration for a JVM,
Okay,
for one
okay.
JVM.
Yeah, yeah, sure, Satya. Thank you.
Yeah.
Satish, I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
The thing is like we are using like Azure DevOps here, so I learned that we cannot we cannot fetch the memory dumps for the past time, right? So I means we complete the test at 8 to 9. So if I had to download the dumps now, so I cannot go and download. So is there any option
What
for
dump?
the heap dump?
What dump?
Heap dump.
Okay, heap dump, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's not about Azure, or your Azure or AWS or your laptop or your data center machine anywhere. Heap dump has to be taken during a test when you see a problem. Okay, say you're running a test, and then your users are increasing, your memory will increase, and there is a problem with the memory is not coming down. Okay, and that point of time you have to take a heap dump. Dump is nothing but at this point of time at 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. what is there in my heap? That dump you have to take it. Once your test is over, right, your users will come out, and then your load will come down, and then if you're going to take a heap dump, right, it might not provide you the right picture, or they might have restarted your VM, or they might have stopped your VM. So the heap dump should be taken during a test, or after the test is completed immediately. If the memory is still not coming down, you have to take the dump at this point of time. So either during a test when you see a problem with the memory, or after the test is completed, if the memory is not coming down, that point you have to take a heap dump. If your VM is started or VM is crashed, right, then you will lose the dump. Once your VM restarts, stops, crashes, there will be nothing there in the in your memory to take the dump. So it's not about Azure, AWS or Azure or Google, GCP or your local laptop. Dump has to be taken at that moment only.
Right, but we never know, right? So we run the test in the non-GA mode, so we don't know like what is happening. So whether the memory is full or not. So
Yeah, that
during
is why we need to monitor the. That is why you need to monitor the memory, right? Like in Jconsole, I monitor the memory, right, of your app server. Either you can do
right,
that, or for example, if a test is running overnight, you have started a test and you're going to probably you're going to sleep and you come next day morning. Was that a question?
no, actually the thing is it's in app server is in Azure, right? So we have given the IP address in Jconsole, but in
Mhm.
Azure for Azure, right? So how we can provide what address we have to provide there?
Yeah, if see, Azure AWS, they are just renting out your machines, right? Every
Right.
machines will have a VM, or even if it is going to be, say, if it is running in a container or Kubernetes, everything will have an IP address and a port. Okay, you
Okay.
just need to find out how you can get these machine details, or
Mm-hmm.
there will be some tools specific to Kubernetes to monitor your a node or pod, right? From where you will be able to take this EMDUM. Just you need to find it out. So they might not give you access to the machines directly. There will be some monitoring, Azure monitors, Azure Monitor, Azure Insights are going to be there, through which you can monitor the memory. If it's going to be AWS, you can use CloudWatch. If it's Azure, you can use Azure Insights, Azure Monitor. You need to go and ask the team to provide you the access to this monitoring tool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise you run the test, you don't know what is happening, your response time just keep increasing, right? That is what a typical performance tester is going to do. It. You will not worry about what is going to happen in the server. Somebody else will monitor it. A development team or server administrative team, they will monitor. You just run a test and then say response time is high. There are a lot of 500 errors, and you want to give the report, right? On top of that, what you can do as a performance engineer is what this monitoring and then analysis.
Okay. Thank you, Satish.
Yeah. Okay. Fine, guys. Okay, so we'll meet tomorrow. Any questions? You can feel free to put it in the WhatsApp group, guys. Yeah. Thank you.